Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by... Oh, you're on mute again, Rob. You muted yourself again. You have to hit the mute button.
Drew, you're a jerk because you're in control of that when all that's going down. So that's all on you. Don't blame it on me. You son of a bitch.
That's on
anyway,
you.
I'm Rob. Not the guy hitting the mute button. Just associated with the guy hitting the mute button. Let's go, Drew.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Just for that, I'm hitting the mute button. Anyway, guys, we are here to talk about the upcoming game here with the New York Giants against the New Orleans Saints. I'll unmute you and be nice.
I was going to tell you to read between the lines, but that's cool.
Listen, we're from Jersey. We all know the state bird.
Yeah.
It's very well known. So, but yeah, guys, we had a lot of things to talk about here. Is Darren Waller coming back? Is DeVito Mania going to continue? Is this potentially the last winnable game we have on the season? There's a lot of questions here. But yeah, let's go through some of the injury report information here, which, to be honest, is a little bit inconclusive to a certain degree. The Giants, and I got to say, we've talked about this before, the Giants are extremely good at releasing their injury report and at the same page putting their opponents. I've looked at some of the opponents we faced and they don't put ours. So it's kind of interesting the Giants do give both for each game. But for some reason, on the Giants website, they are not listing any updates for today on the injury report. So all we have to go based on is yesterday. So that's what we got to give you guys. This is yesterday's news, yeah. And if you're listening to the audio podcast version, it's 2 days ago news.
Yeah, 2 days ago news.
Exactly.
Yes, sir, yesterday's.
Oh, gosh. So first up, Cordell Flott, shoulder injury, was limited participant in practice on Wednesday. Dexter Lawrence with the hamstring, limited participant on Wednesday. Evan Neal with the ankle injury, limited participant. Azeez Ojulari, shoulder injury, limited participant. Ashawn Robinson, hamstring, limited participant. Paris Campbell with the knee injury, full participant. Keep in mind, though, Paris Campbell was a healthy scratch this past week there. So I think it's pretty obvious to say that, Paris Campbell's not in the future plans, guys. He just has not worked out. We expected something from him. Now, I don't know. I want to say big things, but we expected something.
There's a lot of Giants fans that jumped on that hype bandwagon.
I didn't buy the hype. I bought the potential, if he stayed healthy, to have maybe a 700, 800.
Yeah, we talked. I was about to say 700, 800 yards. So that's
But I mean, he was hyped up as if he was going to be like the next coming up, like a number one receiver. Like, it's health that stopped him. If he's just healthy, and he's healthy this year, and he's having his worst season ever.
Yeah, we talked about this like as soon as we signed him. We're like, we signed another wide 2 to be our wide 1.
Yeah,
that's why we have Waller.
We signed so many wide receiver 2s. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my personal thoughts, I think Paris Campbell seems to just be on the way out. The Giants may be nice and throw him in a couple of games just to give him some more tape to show teams for next year. Keep in mind, it's a 1-year contract. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if he's a healthy scratch again. Cordell Flott, Dexter Lawrence, Azeez Ojulari, Ashawn Robinson. I expect to see those guys playing. Evan Neal, 50-50, just because that's what we keep hearing every week is 50-50. So eventually, the 50-50 needs to be updated to be like a 30-70 because you can't be 50-50 each week and not have him play. Eventually, you have to have him play.
When I hear the 50-50, when I hear the 50-50, I think of the, I guess, tails end of it, like maybe the heads end of it. I guess the tails end of it because he's not going to play.
Well, tails never fails, and Evan Neal fails every time, so therefore he's definitely the heads.
but he never gets ahead.
He does when he flips burgers. I've heard he does that very well. Oh yeah, keep it up.
At Wendy's with the triple Whopper or whatever they call the thing at Wendy's.
The triple Whopper at Wendy's.
The triple Dave's or whatever they call them. I don't know.
The double-decker taco at McDonald's while you're at it.
That's blasphemy.
Perhaps
only Burger King stretched out with the tacos outside of Taco Bell.
Perhaps one of those confetti cheesecakes over at KFC.
That sounds amazing.
There's confetti cheesecake that used to be for years at Popeyes. I haven't eaten at Popeyes in forever, but I was thinking about it because Popeyes is kind of like
me thinking about that.
Popeyes is supposed to be the New Orleans fast food place, and obviously we're playing New Orleans this week. I thought it was appropriate to include them in the mix there.
Their chicken is shit.
Now, one guy we have to talk about that doesn't even appear on the injury report because the Giants are slacking, and he was opened up for his window to return and to go to practice and potentially go into games again, and that's Darren Waller. So I'm going to call him a 50-50 because they keep saying he's getting better, he's getting healthier. I think the big thing is, we talked about with Paris Campbell, there's also an out in the contract for Darren Waller as well. So the Giants need to see Darren Waller. Darren Waller needs the Giants to see him, because I'm telling you right now, if he gets the free agent market and the Giants don't pick up this, nobody's giving him the kind of money the Giants are going to have to give him if they up this deal.
Yes, that's 100% what I was about to say. Like,
no one, not even close. And in fact, I don't even want the Giants to do it. We'll have that discussion when that time comes. But to me, I'm offering him a modified extension, not the buy-in, basically, for all intents and purposes, that's there for the rest of his contract, because he's going to get paid like $15-16 million $16 million a year, basically, as a tight end.
He was supposed to be a top 5 tight end, and he was a top 25 this year.
No, honestly, listen, I don't want to overplay the issues with Darren Waller, because let's be honest, the whole offense has sucked.
Yeah, listen, as a fantasy guy, I'm not trying to downplay who he is, because when he's out there,
he just did, but you're not trying to.
But I'm not trying to. But hear me out. When you don't play half the season thus far, how are you supposed to put up the points? How are you supposed to put up the yards? How are you supposed to put up those touchdowns? How are you supposed to make yourself look good when you're not there for half the season? So when you're supposed to be a top 5, if you're healthy for the whole year, and you've played in how many games do you get? You correct me on this. And you're still a top 25.
He's been in 8. He's really played. He's played in 8. He's really played in 7 because he left the Jets game pretty early. If you take out the Jets game, he had 4 yards. So he had 380 yards in 7 games. Times that by 17, that's a pace for 923 yards in the season. That is an elite tight end still. He's still at that kind of pace. The problem you run into is
when you look at stats through the season. And that's the thing. You could take the analytics and the stats of what he played in the game when he was healthy. That's when he's healthy.
Yes.
So you have to factor that into the season.
Exactly. But I'm saying, exactly. You have to factor that in.
That's what I was trying to do
with him.
That's what I was trying to get at when I said he should be a top 5, but he's a top 25.
No, I don't think he's a top 25. I still don't think so. I still think he's a top 10 tight end in this league, because when he's healthy, he's still very good. Again, I just talked about the fact that but again,
stat-wise, I'm talking stat-wise.
You have to include, it's almost like,
I'm talking stat-wise on the season.
But you have to just account for the injuries going to happen. And if you have a guy that you know is going to play at an elite level at a position that not many players are elite at, you have to go ahead and take it.
So, Schultz, who Dow said, off with your head, and it's been playing great.
Schultz wasn't elite. He wasn't
elite.
And they had a guy behind him. But
this is what I'm trying to say. You got to look at the whole season as a whole, not when he's healthy. Schultz has played better than Waller.
I just think that, like,
I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but you have to take into health. When you're talking about when he's healthy, he's this person. But when you look at your season as a whole, and I'm not talking about like DraftKings or FanDuel, like you pick up a tight end when they're healthy. Like, we're an organization of the Giants, a New York Giants football team, and you want to play the full season. You need a tight end that's going to play the whole year to put up those numbers.
Oh, you need to have a good backup behind him because of what he is. But you can't discount what he brings to the table when he is on the field.
I'm not.
And again, he's done what he's done with the shitty offense, a quarterback that's not good. You know, I mean, let's be honest here. He hasn't exactly had ideal scenarios to do these things in. So if he played the whole season, as of right now, at the pace he was at there, he'd be at 760 yards on the season. Again, he hasn't played. I understand that part of it. But that would put him fourth amongst tight ends in the league, only behind George Kittle, TJ Hawkinson, and Travis Kelce. That's elite.
But
again,
out of
the health is where he comes into it. And that's why I'm saying you could take him down from 5 to 10.
I've come up with the 25.
But you're saying 25. That's way too low.
I came up with 25 at the top of my head. All right, so you're looking up the numbers. Let's see who has the most yards as a tight end right now.
I'm just saying 25 is way too low. Way too low.
I don't know. I don't know.
Way too low. So let's go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 25 would have him with guys like Luke Musgrave and Hunter Henry, who he actually has more receiving yards than, even being injured all those games.
So where would he be placed at this point this year?
He's number 20 right now in receiving yards in tight ends.
So I wasn't that
even
far
missing
off.
all these games. No, but I'm saying you can't say he's number 20 because he's got that many yards when he's missed all these games. That's why I'm saying.
You could also say that because he hasn't played those games, and I agree with you. He should be a top. He should be a top 5, top 3.
He's a top, but he's a top 10
when
because
he's
of
healthy.
the injuries.
Because of the injuries, he's top 20.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because of the injuries, top 10 in my opinion.
Because injuries,
we'll agree. We'll have to agree to disagree on this one. We're gonna keep on going circles. We will kindly agree to disagree. I'm gonna say this though. Anybody in the comment section?
I wanted that.
Want to go ahead? Anybody in the comment section that wants to go ahead and be tiebreaker for me and Rob? Is he top 10? Is he top 20? But again, you know, I get your point. It's just a matter of how much do you value the health part of it. That's what it boils down to. And while I want a guy who's healthy and available, I will take special talent, knowing that I'm going to have to deal with this occasionally because you take the good with the bad.
And I'm going to counteract my own argument against this because was he healthy enough to play last week and didn't play or is not playing this week because of where they are in their offense? Which also goes against my own argument right there because our offense has been playing a lot better this past month compared to the past 2 months with Mr.
And that's what I'm saying. And I think having him in there is going to be a nice boost if he can play. Plus, on top of that, that's a really nice boost to guys when you want to go over the top with guys like Slayton and Hyatt. Having this guy back in there at that 5 to 10 yard range, it opens everything up there. Like I said, to me, he's such a rare talent in this league that he's still worth calling a top 10. I can't think of 10 more tight ends that I think are more talented than he is, even when I counter in the injury thing. But Dev's already agreed with you in the comment section. We'll see where Connor goes. I know Connor was in there as well. So Connor, come on, man. Give us your thoughts. You're never shy.
Come on,
all
Chris.
Right, let's move.
Chris, join in too, Chris.
Let's move on to our argument. Chris Belsky in the comments section as well, asking who's going to win the NFC East. We'll give you the answer if you go ahead and answer our question.
I'm just saying, like,
by the way,
like,
I must say,
our unicorn. This is our unicorn.
Chris is listening on your favorite platform, by the way, my LinkedIn profile.
Chris, you are the unicorn. You are what Darren Waller was supposed to be this year. I love you for that.
All right, let's get into the the update here on the injury report for the Saints, who were kind enough to give us an actual injury report for today. So thank you, Saints, for doing your job. Giants, just saying, slacking. You could go ahead and maybe send Tommy DeVito down for an interview with us, and that'll make up for it. But I mean, in the meantime, so Isaiah Foskey, the defensive end, has a quadricep issue, has not practiced the last 2 days. Kendre Miller, running back, ankle injury, has not practiced the last 2 days. Here's the big one coming. Chris Olave. You want to talk about a unicorn? This guy's a unifucking corn.
I won't go that far, but he is a unicorn.
You see that fart?
He is all about them farts. That's what gets him that far down the field, is those farts. No, but he's a great player.
Maybe he is.
I won't say he's not the JJ. He's not Chase. He is not an AJ Brown. But once you take away those talents from those guys, he's not far behind. So he's not a fucking unicorn. He is a unicorn.
No, I said a unifucking corn, to be clear.
I know, that's what I said. He's not a unifucking corn. He's just a unicorn.
Not a fucking unicorn, a unifucking corn.
Yeah.
There's a very clear difference.
Yeah. He's not a fucking corn. I just said union.
Now,
union.
Would you say, and we're gonna get into this topic in a little bit here, but we'll kind of open it up with this. Would you say that Carr is an elite quarterback?
Oh God, no. No.
Okay.
Jesus. No.
So
no. So
I know. I made you.
So
made you choke up.
I've talked about this plenty of times that this man. I don't understand why the Saints keep putting him in.
Hold on. We're gonna get into Carr in a minute. I was just asking a simple question as far as that, because the point I'm trying to get to while we're talking about Chris Olave, because that's the topic here. Chris Olave is ranked number 14 in the league right now, receiving yards, and he's running with a really bad quarterback in my mind, who's limited by his shoulder. And he's running in an offense that is predicated on short routes much more than deep routes. So he's a guy who still had over 1,000 yards last year in his rookie campaign. Going to easily do, you figure 14 games in. He's got 3 more games to go at that point. He'll probably do 1,100 yards this season, depending on how his health pans out, which we're going to need to get at. But if he plays or doesn't, that's a big change in how confident we have to be coming into this game. Because if you take him out of the equation, there's their deep threat gone.
There's the question of how close this game's going to be. I think the way that Banks has been playing, he doesn't allow you to make a deposit that often.
Well, I like your confidence, but Banks is not going to be on him, dude. Banks is going to be on Rashid Shaheed. Chris Olave is going to be Adoree Jackson's target all day long if he's there. Now, if Adoree Jackson,
even better.
Sorry, if you move it down though, then you're going to talk. Adoree Jackson would go on Rashid Shaheed, and Michael Thomas would be who Deonte Banks gets, who had the name recognition, but doesn't have the play recognition.
I don't think he's healthy.
Is he also not healthy? Oh my gosh.
I don't think he's healthy.
Let's take a look here. Saints depth chart. Let's take a look, see where they're at here.
I'm going to go to fantasy players right now.
And the crazy thing is that like they just can't get anybody healthy. It seems like.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, Thomas has been.
Yeah, he's out again too. God damn.
See, boom.
Michael Thomas also out. So you're talking they're going to be down to nothing, dude. Oh my god, nothing
I was
at
saying,
the wide receiver
with Derek
position.
Carr, who's been fighting
Keith Kirkwood. Keith Kirkwood. Oh my god, who the hell is that guy?
He's the Costco version of Olave.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So was replaced. He was put on the injury reserve there. So he's not. He's going to be available either. Yeah. Woo. I'm telling you guys, this is like there's like nothing for them. So if you take out Chris Olave out of this offense, woo-hoo-hoo, you think Wink's going to go a little crazy with that?
Yeah, it's all about the blitz and the rush coverage. Because
yeah, it's
Alvin Kamara is healthy in this game. That line has not been good. Listen,
I will disagree with you on the line. I'll disagree with the line. Their line is very good.
I won't say very good.
Hold on. Let's get back to the injuries, though. We're going to get into the offense for the Saints.
Sorry.
We talked
about I'm jumping.
We're jumping all over the place. We're hopscotching all over the place here. Let's pop down a Ritalin. Let's pop down a Ritalin. Let's go for it. So Andrus Peat, who's their guard, who also plays tackle when did not practice with an illness there on Wednesday. He's a full participant today. So he should be good to go. He's kind of like their sixth offensive lineman there. He's played about half the snaps for them so far this year. Taysom Hill, might have heard of that name occasionally when the Saints come to town. Foot/left hand. It sounds like a twister move, but no, that's his designation on the injury reserve here, an injury report there. It does, right? Left foot, right hand.
Huh.
Cha-cha one time.
I tried to do left foot, right hand, the right foot, left hand. I'm old.
Yeah. I haven't played Twister in forever. I feel like it just hurts to even. That's one of those games when you're young. It's like, oh, that's so much fun. As an old guy now, I'm like, fuck that. I want a beer.
Yeah. I used to be limber. I used to be able to do a bridge to flip over to a backwards bridge. Now I think about one of those and I herniated disc.
I used to be able to put my legs behind my head. I was that flexible.
I'm still close to that, but
I'm still close to it with my right leg, not with my left leg because of my back issues I have. But the biggest issue is even just sitting now, my knees are hurting.
That's because you're like 8'7".
I'm 6'7", okay, not 8'7". Goddamn. Anyway, back to Taysom Hill, limited participant both days with that. I expect him to be a full go. Cameron Jordan, ankle injury, limited participant both days. Who we talking about a minute ago? Who's their only receiver they have note? Rashid Shaheed on the injury report. With a thigh injury, limited participant both days.
He's gonna play.
He's gonna play. He's gonna play. And I'm telling you right now, do not sleep on this man because he hasn't been the top receiver. So just because he hasn't been doesn't mean he can't be. He's put on big games before. So it's not like this is a guy who just hasn't ever showed up, basically. So he had a really big game against Indianapolis. If you remember, he had only 3 catches, but he had 153 yards. He's a freaking speed demon.
Who was
next up on their injury report?
Who was their quarterback for that game? Is that Winston?
Was it Jameis Winston? I think Winston played the second half of that game, if I'm right. He played the second half, I believe, because Carr started every game.
Yeah, because that man is fighting for his job, not to lose his job. But we'll get to that again later.
He signed a very big contract. He signed a very big contract. He'll be fine. Much like Daniel Jones, they're stuck with him. Next up, Ryan Ramczyk, who is their offensive tackle, has got a NIR/rest/knee. So it's like they're resting him, but they're also saying he has a knee issue. So they're limited participant. Yeah. Again, he'll be there. No problem. Jamal Williams, their biggest disappointment if it wasn't for Carr in the offseason. Groin injury, limited participant both days. Again, I fully expect him to go. The only ones that I think we're not going to see are Kendre Miller, who doesn't matter whatsoever. Isaiah Foskey, we may or may not see. That's kind of going to be kind of 50-50 on that one there. And then Chris Olave is going to be a game time decision, but not practicing already the first two at all is not a good sign, guys. No. So I never want to wish ill upon a player, even if he's playing on an opponent.
I just want to say,
but
he should get
I won't
healthy
be upset if he's not playing. Exactly.
I think he should get healthy. Yeah.
Get going
rest
for the
up,
rest
play
of
the next game.
Yeah. Get rest up. Get ready for the rest of your attempt to win the worst division in all of football, and let's see what happens.
Listen, they still have the shot to win in the 4th seed in the NFC South.
You know what's crazy? I had a Bucks fan on Facebook. I didn't put anything comment-wise. He's trying to say that the NFC South is not the worst division in football because all 3 teams are in it. That just shows that they're good. No, when you have 6 wins and 2 of them are against the Panthers, you suck.
Yeah, especially when that whole division has a subpar record.
But I'm saying
the worst team in that division has 1 win.
Yeah. So therefore, you got 2 guaranteed wins right there, and you're still stuck at 6. And you still have 4 games against the other 2 6 and 7 teams, which means 4 games means you should split them, which gives you 2 by that math. So therefore, 4 of your 6 wins are within your division. You can't be shit outside of it. You suck.
Yeah.
Call it what it is. Anyway. As if we have any right. I'm getting all cocky. We went 3 games, and I'm like, "Yeah, you suck."
I was joking around. I was like, let's mathematically let's just think about this for a hot second before we go into our own game.
So
hot. We are not winning the NFC East. That is 100% true.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're mathematically limited, but either way, we're not going to win.
We're limited to maybe a wild card at this point, but not really.
It's like a 2% chance, but I'm still here for it.
But who wins? Who wins the East? Is it Dallas or is it the Eagles? If they get the number 2 seed, is it worse than the 5th seed? You could kind of argue, you're going to go in and play the AFC South at the 5th seed. And is it really that bad?
Yeah. I don't
is it really that bad?
I'm kind of torn on.
I get home field advantage, but
I want the home field for the rest of the playoffs. I'm just saying.
I get that, but
I don't want anybody in the NFC South that's a fan of that division saying, "Ooh, we're not that bad. We're all
I'm just saying, basically."
No, you all suck equally. That's what I mean.
I'm trying to emphasize how much the NFC South sucks because the 5th seeds might be better than the 3rd seed.
It's going to be like when Dallas
definitely better than the 4th seed.
It's going to be like when Dallas went into Tampa last year.
Yeah.
They crushed them very easily. All right. Anyway, as we get sidetracked again. That Ritalin did not kick in yet. Hey, we forgot. We forgot to hit the video for the injury report. We forgot to hit the video for the injury report. Okay. You know we're not going to forget? The one for when we're on offense. Oh, yes. As Rob is muted again. I can't. Okay, I can't.
I was about to say, you did it again.
It even said, can't unmute your guest because they chose to mute themselves. That's what it said on the screen. Seriously.
Oh, well, I didn't do any of it.
Yes. Apparently you chose.
Next time we do a video, I'm going to do this so you can see. Everyone can know that it's all true.
I think I mute you because you talk. That's the problem. You try to talk during the videos. And the system puts you in timeout. Let's talk about the offense here when we're on offense. So, obviously, when we do that, we have to talk about the Saints' defense, which, to be very frank, is their strong suit. I know over the years, the Saints have developed a reputation of their offense because of the Drew Brees years. Well, guess what, guys? He gone. He ain't coming back.
He long gone.
He's even said he would love to still play. He can't throw the ball anymore. Literally, that's what he said. He said, I can't throw the ball more than 10 yards anymore. My shoulder's that bad. He said otherwise he'd love to continue playing until he's like 45 and try to pull a Brady. Anyway, defense, they averaged 20.1 points per game, with his 10th best in the NFL. Still more than the Giants average per game, but you know. I got to look it up, honestly. It might be over 20 now. Who knows with the last couple of games. Their strong suit really, though, is stopping the pass. They do that with great pass coverage as opposed to getting to the QB. Opposing QBs have a completion percentage of 57.28 overall, which is second best in the NFL. Yards per pass, 5.9 yards per completed pass. That's second best as well. Now, they have a quattro of corners they use in this whole scheme. One of them's going to sound very familiar to Giants fans. And one of them will be just familiar because to all NFL guys, because he was pretty big name in the business there. Paulson Adebo, Altontae Taylor, Isaac Yiadom, and Marshon Lattimore. Now, yes, it's that Isaac Yiadom that we had on the Giants there just a couple of years ago that we were glad to get rid of because he does not play very good for us, did not play good for the Broncos. If there's one thing head coach Dennis Allen is very good at, he has a history with working with secondaries before he was a DC, before he was a head coach. That is carried over to him as a head coach now. And he's got this group of corners going where they are just great at coverage. And this is part of the key of if we get our unicorn back, Darren Waller. Because if he's back, guess who we won't be covered by? A corner.
Those corners.
Exactly. That'll open up the game for these receivers. I think it's a big thing if he's back or not this week. This is a big thing. But or either way,
expect Belly to have a good game. No,
I just, like I said, I just think this is one of those games that you could use him. So it's interesting he's going to be coming back there. Now, I mentioned they do it without getting to the quarterback. That's the weird thing. They're just really good at coverage. They only have 23 sacks right now in the league and have gotten to the quarterback on 5.2% of pass attempts, which is 28th worst, which is pretty bad in the league, 28 out of 32. Carl Granderson, not to be confused with Curtis Granderson, 6.5 sacks on the season. Demario Davis, 5.5 sacks. No one else has more than 2 on their entire roster. That's not good. That's like Giants bad. Because if you take out Kayvon and you take out Dexter Lawrence, who's really scaring at the Giants, it's kind of the same thing here. I got to put it in perspective and be nice because we're talking trash fest and we're bad at too. So it is what it is. They do also though, get a lot of interceptions. They intercept the ball on 3.34% of all pass attempts. That is second best in the league. So something to keep an eye on there. This is that ball hawk kind of team. So yeah, we got to keep an eye on that. And we got to have DeVito continue to go ahead and, you know, be secure with the ball, be safe with the ball as he did last week there. Now the big way to go ahead and stop them though is the run. The Saints have had a lot of trouble stopping the run. They're allowing the opposing rushers to average 4.6 yards per carry. That's 27th worst in the league. They're giving up 131.5 yards per game on the ground. That is 26th worst in the league. So, yeah, something to really keep an eye on. Demario Davis, who I mentioned before we talked about the sacks, he's also their leading tackler. So he's one of their linebackers. He's probably their best defender, basically, that they have overall. Probably one of the more underrated linebackers in this league, to be very frank. I wouldn't call him really a household name, but 91 tackles at this point in the season. Again, having 5.5 sacks. If you're going to tell me I can have a guy that's going to get probably 7 sacks and 120 tackles on a year, yeah, most teams would say sign me up for a guy with 120 tackles and 7 sacks. That's the kind of player Demario Davis is. So expect to hear his name. Hopefully it's not, you know, being said with DeVito on the ground, but, you know, this is the guy. This is the guy you're going to hear a lot about. Now I mentioned before, as far as interceptions, Paulson Adebo has 4 interceptions in the year. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, has 3. Oh yes, the Honey Badger. Honey Badger don't care. Honey Badger don't give a shit. He just intercepts the ball. Marcus May, 2 interceptions. They have 14 total. I just mentioned those 3 guys have a total of 9. They have 14 total on the year. That's a lot for one team to have. That means we're averaging 1 a week. That's good. So don't be shocked that DeVito gives up an interception, guys. I don't want to see it. I'm just saying don't be shocked because they average 1 a week. And that's big when you know you can get 1 per week out of there. So, all right, let's get into the comments section here. And then we're going to go into the play the Bills here real quick. And then we'll get into when we're on defense, go a little more into the offense for the Saints, which is an interesting offense here overall. We started off beforehand. Start up before the show. Even Connor saying 1, 2, 3, 4. Why am I here alone for? Deb says you're not alone, Connor. LOL. The 2 giant goofballs say you aren't alone. You are with all of us goofballs. I like how I'm like talking in third person for the show. Connor says I've heard we're getting a wide receiver named Manicotti, so Tommy Cutlets can pass to one of his favorites. Listen. Tommy Cutlets is not going to pass the Manicotti, okay? First off, he's gonna keep on eating that, okay? Especially if his mom made it. It's not gonna.
Yeah. Mom, where's the Manicotti? Manigotti's on the 30-yard line.
Manicotti. Oh. I'm assuming he says it that way, the Jersey Italian way. Connor says, "Oh, good, I'm not alone. It's scary by yourself." Yes, it is. Deb says that's funny, Connor. The 2 giant goofballs says his name was Vizul. DeVito wants to pasta Vizul. Oh yes. Oh come on, that's a good dad joke. That's a good dad joke.
That's fantastic.
Whoever these 2 giant goofballs are, that's genius. Thank you, Deb. Connor says Vizul, what the fuck is that? Oh, come on, Connor. Pasta Vizul? Come on. You live in the tri-state area, don't you? You have to know pasta Vizul. Connor says, come on, Roberto, stop muting yourself. Only your wife can do that. I've never understood why so many injuries on our team. Maybe we need some new medical doctor and physical therapy people. I think we should call in House. Okay, House is located right in Princeton. I think we should go ahead with House.
It's not far. Probably 45 minutes from East Rutherford, maybe an hour.
I still hear people complaining about this new turf we're using. We need to get grass. You want to stop injuries? Get the goddamn grass. Okay. It's as simple as Cheech and Chong have been saying all along. Grass is the answer.
Yes. They've been doing that since the 70s.
Exactly.
60s, whatever.
Yeah, Tommy Chong went to prison for a little while, but whatever. Connor says it'll be 55-45 soon. There he is. Rob's favorite, Chris Belsky, NBA. Who is going to win the NFC East? He's our LinkedIn guy here. I think the Eagles are in the driver's seat. If they just win out, it doesn't matter. Even though the Cowboys are technically in the lead right now, they did the math. The math has been done. If the Eagles just win out, they win the division. So,
I don't know if they win out.
They do. But I would say if they do. I'm saying.
If they
so
do.
We'll
I don't
see.
know if they do, but
yeah, I don't know if the Cowboys do either. So we'll find out.
But we're talking about NFC East, but let's talk about a little bit of the AFC West because the Raiders just went up and it's 21-0.
Ooh. I wonder if anybody called. I wonder if anybody called for the Raiders to win that game.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody should go back to the picks episode and see what they said.
Good callback.
Oh yes. All right. Connor says it's sad the old KFC bucket when I was a kid was big and full at the top. Now the bucket is smaller and the chicken is smaller and doesn't even come close to the top of the bucket. Are you complaining about a small cock, Connor?
It's amazing that's how you got that. I was just thinking about all that crappy food you see as a kid.
I the mashed potato bowl, dude, is the only thing I'll eat at KFC.
It's probably been a good full decade, at least, since the last time I ate at KFC.
You know what? I haven't eaten one forever, and I typically eat at if I'm going to eat fast food, I'll go to Wendy's because they have the cheap value meal, or I'll go to Taco Bell because I just love Taco Bell. I can't help myself.
It's funny because I would go Taco Bell first, then then to Wendy's, and that's about it.
We talked about this. The only reason I go to Wendy's is because they do that $6 meal plus my keys are up by my front door. I have that key tag now for the free Frosties.
Well, it's funny because you said that I had a Wendy's for the first time in like a year.
It's not a bad deal. It's like $6. You get a burger, you get nuggets, and a small fry and a small drink for $6, dude. That's hard to beat. And now you throw in that if I got the keychain, I get the free Frosty on top of that. Oof. Oof.
Yeah, I didn't need all that sugar and diabetes, so I just took the
diabetes.
Diabetes. I don't
need it, but I got it. I need space. That's what I need. Deb says, I got to go with Rob. How can you rate somebody with a what if an athlete's worth is also dependent on if they can stay healthy? Listen, I'm not taking that away from that, by the way. That's what I'm saying. He's not a top 5, even though he has top 5 talent. I got to take him down because of the injury issues. I just still think he's top 10.
Listen, one of the best abilities in the NFL is availability.
The best ability is availability.
And if you're only going to play 5 games for me, what are you?
No.
What good are you for the other 12 games?
Here's what I'm getting at, though. Would you rather have? Hold on, hear me out. You just can't understand. What do you understand? I didn't finish my statement. I didn't finish my statement.
I understand that if you put 400 yards up in 5 games or whatever you want to say, but I'd also like a tight end, maybe Bellinger, or maybe someone else that could get 800 yards and stay there for the full season and block.
I don't disagree with you. I think there's not as many 800-yard guys as you're thinking, and that's my whole point. Is if I can get a guy who's going to play in 10 games, hypothetically, and get me close to 700 yards, I'll take that with good backups over taking a guy who's going to get me 300 to 400 yards and be there the whole season.
Yeah, I get that as well, but at the same point, you want the guy to play 10, 11 games, get you 1,000 yards, but you want a backup that gets you 600 yards. He's going to be on some other team.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Connor says a unicorn. Deb says couple of games Waller played. He dropped a couple that were right in there. Yeah, I'm not disputing that at all, but I still think he has the ability to get open that many tight ends don't have and never will have potentially. I do think also that he's still getting used to the offense. He's still getting used to the team, the play, the quarterback. There's a lot of things he's getting used to at those points. That was very early on.
Listen, he was used to that in the practice when he was listed as a unicorn.
And Waller.
When he was listed as a unicorn, he was catching those passes.
And
I think it was when this offense came together and we started playing live games.
Not to be confused with the unicorn, for the record.
But he wasn't getting those passes. Once he started getting those passes, you're like, oh shit, it's on me.
So my whole thing with him is just the fact that, like, you look at some of the games that he had, his big games this year, and on paper, here's the weird thing about it. If you were to tell me right now, how many good games did Darren Waller have? You would think maybe 1 or 2, right? He had 3 out of the 7 he was in were really, I think, quality games. He had 76 yards against the Cardinals, 86 yards against the Dolphins, 98 yards against the Commanders.
Solid games.
And if you look at the last 3 games, he was healthy before he got injured to the Jets. They got a non-including next. He had 4 yards. 86 yards, 43 yards, 98 yards. That's a pretty good trio, though. And I think part of it was in the beginning, and I know people underestimate this to a certain degree, but especially when you're playing close quarters, which is a lot of the tight end passes, there's still a lot of chemistry that has to be developed. This is why a lot of the tight ends, when they get drafted the first year, don't do very well. It takes a little time to build chemistry with a tight end and a quarterback.
Also, part of his problem was you had DJ, which had good chemistry like that was talked about the whole offseason, how great they played together.
Well, yeah, it's because they had to give us what he had for breakfast every morning at the freaking Twitter.
But no, even if you take that away, like, all right, so DJ
Take
comes
me
in,
away.
he plays good. He goes out of a game. Tyrant has to come in. Now, that's a different chemistry that has to get in line. So now he starts playing with him. He starts playing a little bit better with Tyrant. Tyrant comes out. DJ comes back in. It's a different chemistry he has to negotiate with, if you will. And then what happens again? Tyrant comes back in for DJ. So, like
I said,
it's been very confusing for the whole offense. Like, and I get that. And I'm trying to say it, but at the same token, like, Waller hasn't been helping himself.
No. And like I said, I'm not trying to say that part of it either. I'm not trying to downplay the issues with him. The drops that Deb mentions here, 100%. We talked about it when they happened. We weren't very happy about it. The issues with him not being healthy, obviously a major issue. But when he's healthy, he has shown us, in my opinion, that he's still the same player he was when he was with Oakland. I think that was Oakland when he had his good years, right? I don't think they moved to Vegas yet when he had those 2 good years.
He technically was with Vegas. It was the first year when he was banged up, but his wife also played for the Vegas in the WNBA.
So banged up. Anyway. Oh yeah.
Tush.
Ayo.
That's what he got. Heyo.
Ayo. Yeah, because I'm looking at here. He played the last 2 seasons with the Raiders, and that was Vegas. So yeah, his 2 good years with the Raiders were in Los Angeles. There. So,
I was about to say
Oakland. Sorry. Okay, what city were they in this year?
Didn't they go down to LA before they went to Vegas?
No, they played. Remember, they went Oakland, LA, Oakland, Vegas.
That's right.
Yeah. This is like the beginning of that movie Basketball. The Utah Jazz moved from New Orleans to Utah, where they don't allow music. The Minneapolis Lakers moved to LA, where there are no lakes.
You're excited.
Anyway, let's get off. This is like becoming like the Darren Waller episode here. Let's pay the bills real quick and let's go off to the defense here.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty. Win on defense. Hey, Rob, you didn't talk on defense. It didn't mute you, see?
Because you unmuted me. I watched the whole thing. My hands were up.
All right. So let's talk about that there, because when we're on defense, it's an odd offense there because they're basically average. That's the truth of it.
I would argue below average.
Well, the stats tell you that they're average, and that's the weird thing about it. You go into you go into the stats and the numbers at that point there, and listen, you go into with the pretty much everything. They're ranged anywhere from 9 to 19, and that's right there in the middle. Now, what the one thing the stats do tell us, and this is where I get your point that they're below average to a certain degree, is that they depend on short routes. They are not the team that's sitting there going crazy and going for these high yardage kind of things. They're not going for like the 20-yard bombs that often.
So it's
not that team, and that's typically something you do in a team that has trouble getting down the field.
But look at their points. It's great. Like, you could be the Pittsburgh Steelers to put up 400 yards a game, but still get 17 points. But if you put up 200 yards a game and you wind up getting 17 points, who's the better offense? That being said, I want you to do me a quick favor, Drew. Last week, the Saints played who?
Last time I did you a quickie, I almost fell for it. I'm not doing this again.
Well, I mean,
Right.
anyway, they played Atlanta.
I got to take that.
I was like, this is going to get very crazy. Jackie?
That's what you said that night.
But the Saints played who last week?
And
I'm
that,
gonna make
folks, is what Rob looks like when he blushes.
Close enough. But Drew,
anyway, what's the point you're trying to make that I'm being a jerk and ruining for you?
Who did the Saints play last week?
Who does number 2 work for?
Yes. They played Atlanta, right?
I honestly, I'd have to look it up. I didn't look specifically at that. I watched tape from various games, so I didn't look to see which week was which.
And I want to say they played.
So the last game was against the Panthers, and they beat them wholeheartedly 28-6. What was barely defeated the Lions 30. I said a very loss to the Lions.
But go back into that game. Go back into that game. Look at Derek Carr's numbers. How many yards did he pass for?
We're getting very specific on one specific game.
I am, because what I'm trying to get at is Derek Carr had 37 yards at halftime. He had 33
Here's the point,
yards.
Though. Does it matter when you won 28-6?
He had 33 yards going into the fourth quarter, and then he had what you would call garbage time throwing yards. That this offense is not as. This offense is a false flag. It's a house of cards. They're putting up numbers. They're not playing as well as what they should be, but they're beating bad teams, making themselves look better. When you're playing against the AFC South and you put up 230 yards of offense, is that really that good?
When you're winning 28-6, yes. You put up 28 points. All I care about is points. That's all I care about. Honestly, the rest of the stats...
what you should worry about is winning the game. It's not so much...
But I'm saying, when you're on offense specifically, on offense, you can control how many points you score.
Yeah, but also...
It's not like Derek Carr's going to go out there and intercept the football.
No, he's not. I'm just saying...
With his bum shoulder.
I'm just saying, Derek Carr's in this game. We win cold-heartedly. You put James Winston in there, they probably have a better chance of winning, or we have a better chance of a landslide.
Yeah,
it's a 50-50.
Well, let's get into the part of that then, because you're about to get into something we got here in a second here. So what I was getting at though is they rank 7th at 36.5 passes per game in the NFL, but they're only averaging 6.4 yards per throw. That's not very good. And that's what I'm saying. It's a very short dink and dunk West Coast style offense there. But the one thing they have been good, you mentioned the line before, they're very good at protecting the quarterback. They're only getting sacked in 5.57% of pass attempts. That's 7th best in the entire NFL. So give a little kudos to that line there. We wish we had that kind of protection. Derek Carr on the year. 279 completions, 420 attempts. That's a 66.4% completion percentage there. Has got 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I wouldn't exactly say that he's, again, going crazy there as far as, what he's doing on this field there. 2,880 yards on the season. Again, pedestrian type of numbers, I think. But like I said, the big thing is they're putting up some points that are at least average. I'm not saying they're going crazy. They're average.
But when you put average against the Panthers.
You mentioned that game. I never mentioned that game. Let's be very clear.
Okay, so you put average against Atlanta.
No, I'm saying
You
average
put average
against what the rest of the team is scoring. Or the teams are scoring per game. I understand their schedule sucks. They have a bunch of shitty teams they're playing, but they're still putting up an average amount of points based on what the league is putting up this year. You can't take that away from them because
listen, when they play better teams, when they play better teams, they put on below average.
Would you say the Lions are a better team?
What week did they play them?
Because they put up 28 points. They put 28 points against the Lions.
What week did they play them?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, when the Lions are on the biggest downfall.
I'm just saying.
So far.
You're looking.
So you're right. You're right.
I mean, the Jaguars. They put 24 points against the Jaguars. They put 34 points up against the Patriots, which again, Patriots offense sucks, but their defense still has some talent.
And then you put into other games where they put up like 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, and you have a chance.
And again, I'm not an average team. Some good, some bad.
Yeah. And I want to say those, higher scoring games is when Mr. Winston himself was in those games, throwing some crazy down the field passes.
Like I said, I don't think he's as big a component. Now we're gonna talk about him next. He has appeared in 6 of the games this season so far, and that's mostly because of injuries to Derek Carr. Derek Carr's had his shoulder issues, which he's had before he got there. He's also had 2 concussions this year. So yeah, Jameis Winston has appeared in a lot of games. He's got the better arm. He's got the more daring arm.
And it's been more successful for this Saints offense.
Let me just put it this way. If the Saints thought he was a better quarterback, he'd be in the game. When you're in the fight for the playoffs.
Like, I hear that, but it's also like if Daniel Jones was ready to come back for this game, do you play him or do you play Tommy DeVito?
I would never tell people he's ready and I continue to play Tommy DeVito.
Okay, but if DJ is fighting for his contract, which is kind of what's happening down in the Saints, and he's really fighting for his job. So here's the thing.
These guys, you can't cut them, though. You can't cut them, Rob. They make too much money. They're not cuttable.
I hear that, but the way that Carr's
you can't say they're fighting for their contract when you literally can't cut them.
But I'm pretty sure that you could get rid of Carr next year, and he's trying to prove a point that he can still play in this NFL.
If you cut Carr next year, you pay $17 million to make him go away, additional to what you're paying him salary wise. He's got a $35 million cap number next year. If you cut him, it's 52.8.
But okay, but if he keeps playing
now the next year after that, you're not going to give him an extra $17 million to walk away, dude. Same as we're talking about with Daniel Jones.
You might, and you talked about that earlier in this year.
The Saints.
I just feel like
hold on, hear me out. The Saints are the team that starts out every single year.
Finish out.
Negative $20 million. I'm just saying the Saints never have money. They are negative $20 million at the start of every single season. And you want to give them an extra $17 million just to make Derek Carr walk away.
Listen, he's losing
gonna be there.
Games for them.
Doesn't matter. He'll be a backup worst case scenario and they'll draft somebody.
Okay, so he wants his starting job. That's what I'm trying to say.
Doesn't matter. He doesn't get it because he wants it. He also wants $52
That's
million
also listen. He's the first quarterback this year and the second quarterback this year to come back within 1 week of a concussion protocol after what happened
twice.
He did it twice. You're telling me he's not trying to get back out in the field earlier than he can?
Or he's a guy that had a reputation of playing through injuries even when he was with the Raiders, which he did. That's part of the team. The reason the team liked them. The teammates always rallied around Derek Carr.
But are they rallying around him right now? I don't know.
They'd rally around the family with a pocket full of shells.
Oh, snap.
Saints on parade. Anyway, again,
I'm just saying.
that's like I said, we can disagree again. That's okay. That's okay.
I just feel like he's
we gotta
fighting
talk
for a
about
job.
I just feel like I don't disagree he's fighting for a job. I don't think he's fighting for his contract. That's the point I'm making. His contract is
sorry,
set.
I take it back. He's fighting for his job and his reputation.
Yeah, okay.
And
That I will give you. That I will give you.
And he's fighting through these injuries, which any other team would probably bench this guy. And knowing that Jameson Winston can throw the ball around and they can make this offense more electrifying, even though he'll give 21 points.
It's electrifying.
Ooh, Grease Island. Or Saints Island.
Jameis Winston's the one that you want. He's the quarterback you want.
But you're saying he could throw 21 points up in the first quarter for the Saints, or 21 points for the opposing team. But at the same time, he's going to throw the ball down the field and
Jameis Winston.
More exciting.
Jameis Winston is everything bad about Brett Favre, minus the being a schmuck off the field.
You don't know that yet.
No. I mean, he's stolen some. He stole.
Not saying he's a bad guy. Not saying he's a bad guy.
He stole crab legs. He didn't steal, millions of dollars from the people of Mississippi. Not that I'm saying Brett Favre did that, because he sued multiple people for suggesting it.
Allegedly.
I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying that Jameis Winston definitely didn't. For the record.
Yes. Alleged rumors have said that about Favre.
Rumor has.
We're not saying.
But yeah, we got to talk about Taysom Hill though as well, because that's the third quarterback there, and he does pop at quarterback. He pops at running back. He pops at tight end. He pops everywhere. Okay, he's like pop goes the weasel because the weasel goes pop. You never know where he's going to be at. Okay,
yep.
He's just everywhere. He's like Allstate. He's everywhere you want to be.
He's won guys fantasy football leagues and lost them as well.
Yes. I mean, he doesn't show up some games, and he's unstoppable other games. You just don't know. It's a weird quandary. I don't think I've ever seen a guy play in this league like he does.
He is a legit old school football player.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a tight end, but you know what? I'll go in the backfield and throw the ball for 200
He'd be like the halfback back in the day,
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll play any offensive position you want. Okay, cool, great.
All right, let's get into their wide receiver series. We got to talk about this, especially because of everything going on here. I mean, Chris Olave, we already talked a little bit about him and his injuries there. If he does play, though, on the year, 72 catches, 918 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He is their deep threat guy that you can count on when he's healthy. He's a very good player. I think he's underrated in this league because of where he plays. He doesn't get the press that other guys get because New Orleans isn't exactly a big media market. The Saints aren't exactly a good team. I'm telling you, if he was on this team a couple of years ago with Drew Brees, whew,
he'd be Mike Thomas.
He'd be Michael Thomas, exactly. Rashid Shaheed, 33 catches, 534 yards, 3 touchdowns. He is the true deep threat. He is their Jalen Hyatt kind of guy that we're going to throw the ball to him. It's going to be 20, 25 yards down the field for the most part. So we already talked about, though, they don't do that very often. That's why he only has 33 catches in 14 games. That's, 2.5 times per game. That's it. Not very much. But look at the yards per catch. You look at the yards per catch, though. That's a pretty impressive average there.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas, we already talked about him. He's on the IR. 39 catches, 448 yards, and a touchdown. But we won't have to worry about him. He gone.
Bye.
That's the only receivers, the wide receivers that actually have any stats worth talking about. That's the crazy part. So you got 3 receivers worth talking about. One of them's out for sure. One of them looks like he may be out. And the other guy's going to be in there, but not 100%.
Yeah. And even if Olave's in there, is he going to be as fast as he normally is?
No. I mean, unless he's just that guy who plays through injuries and it's like, I'm not actually hurt at all.
He might be. Who knows?
Yeah, he's too young in his career for us to know that part of it there. But that's something you have to consider because there are some players like that, like that play like Jordan flu games, basically, where it's like, oh, I wasn't sick after all.
I recovered. Joke's on you.
Like, they give him like a horse tranquilizer or something beforehand and just get him going. Next thing you know, he's good to go. Like, whatever medicine they give these guys, it's crazy because sometimes they give them these shots and they don't feel a goddamn thing the entire game.
I mean, look at Tyreek Hill last week.
Yeah. So I mean, you just don't know. I mean, so we'll have to see what happens with him. Otherwise, receiving wise, Alvin Kamara, as we all know what he is. He's a dual threat running back there. He's actually more threat as a receiver than he is a running back, if you want to get technical on it. 63 catches. So he's second actually in catches, only 402 yards. He's only averaging about 6 yards a catch. This is part of the reason their yards per catch is very, very low. But that's not a lot.
Yeah, especially he's normally catching him in the backfield. So like
I get it, but still, it's not a high amount there for your second leading receiver.
No, it's not. I'm just trying to defend Kamara.
I know. I get it. Another short yardage guy is Taysom Hill, the quarterback we talked about. He's got 26 catches, 229 yards, and a touchdown on there. Now, tight ends, besides Taysom Hill, because we already talked about him. He plays tight end sometimes, running back sometimes, so it's hard to put him in one specific category. Tight ends overall, they've got 3 of them that they use sparingly that have combined for just 39 catches and 333 yards, but 5 touchdowns. Of those 5 touchdowns, 3 of them come from Jimmy Graham. Yes, that's Jimmy Graham, who's now 67 years old.
I was about to say,
once again for the Saints.
Older than your grandfather.
Yeah. He's got 4 catches on the year, 3 touchdowns. So the only thing we really have to worry about him is the end zone. Apparently, that's all he does. That's a good. If you're going to be a one-trick pony, scoring touchdowns is probably the best trick you can have.
You're not wrong.
But let's get into their run offense, which, to be very frank with you, I think is actually their biggest issue on offense. Their passing offense, while it's not electric, it's effective. Their running game, that's the biggest issue, really. And they run the ball very often because, again, they're in that dink and dunk short plays kind of offense. So we talked about how good their line is in pass protection. Either run blocking is an issue for these guys, or their running backs just suck. And based on history of what I'm seeing, it's probably a combination of both.
I was going to say column A, column B.
It probably is. Because Alvin Kamara, 145 carries, 564 yards, 3.9 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. He's an electric running back. You expect him to have at least 4.5, close to 5 yards per carry. He's not doing it. Taysom Hill, he's like ends up everywhere in this list here. 70 rushes, 346 yards. That's a 4.9 yards per carry average, 4 touchdowns. Better. 4.9, much better. That's kind of what you expect in a running back. But again, Taysom Hill runs more trick plays and stuff like that than actual run up the gut kind of stuff. So you're going to get that kind of stuff. Jamal Williams, we talked about him on the injury list there as well as being one of the potential biggest busts of this offseason for the Saints besides Carr. This guy literally led the league in NFL rushing touchdowns there as a Lion last year. Guess how many he has this year? It's a round number less than 1.
It's a goose egg.
0. Nilch. None. As a running back, 63 carries, 190 yards. That is very easy to do the math on. That's 3 yards a carry. So when your top running backs, take out Taysom Hill out of the situation, is getting 3.9 yards per carry and 3 yards per carry, and you are averaging 28.2 rushes per game, which is 9th most in the league. And as a whole entire group, including Taysom Hill, including Derek Carr, and all that kind of stuff there, you're getting 3.7 yards per carry, which is 28th in the league. That's a goddamn issue.
Yeah.
And that's an issue that I fucking love.
Yep. This is that old school football team that will play pretty good defense for the most part, and just play slow offense and give us a low scoring game overall.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah, I mean this I'm telling you, plays right into the hands of the Giants here. It really does. So let's get into our final thoughts, because that is one of my final thoughts here. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
All right. So I kind of got into that one a little. So let's get into the final thoughts here, because the Saints' weaknesses play directly into our hands. They don't get to the quarterback. We have trouble protecting the quarterback. They don't run the ball well. We have trouble stopping the run. They can't stop the run. We run the ball better.
Yep.
If this is a game you guys are not going into confident, you need to look at why. And it's probably mostly because you've been hurt most of the season. As much more than that than it is, trusting the current offense and the current team overall.
Are you trying to say a Scarlet agent is going to be kissed once again this weekend?
I'm just saying. I'm hoping Mama DeVito brought some cutlets to celebrate with. Perhaps a little sangria, some good food, some fresh mozzarella.
What's the over-under on the cutlets that is going to be served at this game tomorrow?
2.3 is the over-under, I believe. Per person.
Oh, per person. There you go.
Yes.
It's a close push. That's a good over-under. Yeah, I'm going to go with the over.
It all depends on the size of the cutlet, so we'll have to find out.
This is good Scapinelli, pounded out fresh. I'm going to go with the over. But if it's that fat cutlet, under.
And that brings me to one of the other points there. Can DeVito mania continue? Because this kid's like a national star now after this game Monday night. That's one of the benefits of being really good on prime time. Daniel Jones, take notes, because he's been horrible at prime time.
I mean, he wasn't great prime time, but he won.
He's the NFC Offensive Player of the Week.
He was, but again, did he throw up 300 yards? Did he have
no
17 touchdowns? It wasn't like he had an amazing game, but he managed the game well. He had a great run. He won us the game. I'm not taking anything away from this guy.
I know. And I'm not trying to say he's MVP caliber or anything crazy either. So, but he still put up 250 yards of offense. I mean,
yeah.
Then you throw in, what Barkley does on his side. And like I said, if we get over 300 yards of offense, as good as our defense plays,
this game's over.
That's game over for a lot of games. Unless we're playing a high-powered offense like the Eagles or Rams we have coming up. But against this team, yeah,
enjoy
especially if Olave doesn't play. If Olave doesn't play. Woo. You're telling me you got no receivers. Game on.
It's like Marcella over there.
Here's another interesting final thought here. We talked about it ad nauseum here, obviously. The Saints are at 6-17. But again, they play in a really, really shitty division. Here's their wins on the season. If this also doesn't make you confident, nothing will. Except maybe a strong beer, a shot of vodka.
Whiskey.
I've changed it up. It depends on your choice. I'm more of a whiskey rum person myself, but whatever floats your boat. So the 6 wins, 2 of them we already talked about. You get 2 gimme games against the Panthers in that division. The crazy thing is the rest of their wins aren't even really in their division. They have 1 against the Patriots. We already talked about that. 1 against the Bears. Their other wins, their signature wins against the Titans and the Colts.
Yeah, and the Bears
this is
were
not a team that should scare you guys.
Yeah. And the Bears were, when they beat the Bears, it was the first 4 to 5 weeks of football when the Bears.
I'd have to look up the game, but I'm actually wondering if it's one of the games that Justin Fields was out. And
yeah, I mean, what I was gonna
was actually quarterback for sneaking. We'll find out. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say because the Bears have been playing better football this past 3 to 4 weeks, especially that defense.
I'm right. Tyson Bagent. That's the one he scored 3 interceptions. I did 3 interceptions against them. So, yeah. But
it's hard to lose
that
a
was
game
the
when you get
difference.
3 interceptions.
Yeah. Well, we've done it.
We've
proven
it's hard. I didn't say it was impossible. I said it was hard. We do hard things a lot. Ayo.
Ayo. All righty, guys. So, yeah. Rob and I have already picked you guys in the picks episode, the Giants to win out this game here. It's a weird feeling because I think we're both kind of going into this with confidence this game, and that's an odd feeling as a Giant fan here. So, before we close out, Deb asked a question. She said, "When can we see the website?" The website is still being developed. I have crazy hours at work right now, but
it's come a long way.
I'm off next week. I have vacation time left, and because I'm a little creative, my vacation time. So I still have some vacation time coming. So I took it for the last week of the year. So what I'm going to do real quick, if I can do this without this messing up, is I'm going to try to give you guys at least a preview of it since she's asking. Let me see if I can get this up here. Because I actually got the website up during the show once I saw that. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
Jingle bells, jingle bells. Juice smells.
There it is, Deb. Last couple weeks up here. Oop. And now that's the biggest problem. I put up the thing in episode, and you can go ahead and there. It's a little delayed because I'm sharing this. Is very good there. And then we go ahead and watch. Any episode you want. You can go to the actual episode itself, and once you do that, you'll be able to see it in not just the audio. I'm sorry, not just the video, but also in the audio version as well. So, like I said, we'll have to see there. It's coming up a little slow here because, like I said, whenever I share my screen, it doesn't want to, like, you can see there's the audio version, there's the video version there at that point coming up on it. A little recap on it. So you got all that stuff there. This on the audio plus YouTube. Of course, we have the Buy Me a Coffee here at a couple different places here as well. So, yeah, like I said, and you'll look there. That's the coolest feature. I love that. When you scroll down, the video travels with you. So, like I said, we're working on a few things here for it. This year there's going to be a spot for a little bit on me and Rob and past guests, and also a shop and way to contact us right through there as well. So, like I said, I'll probably have it up for good there for us there after this vacation or during the vacation. So, won't be too much longer. That'll be live and ready to go for everybody there because that's something I've been working a lot of hours on. We have a lot of episodes I've had to get going live on that. So, and I feel bad people that listen to the audio version. They don't actually get to see it. It's like they get to hear about it, but not see it. And almost like they should go to the YouTube channel, hit subscribe, and then go watch this video, at least towards this last couple minutes there so they can see everything going on. So, yeah. All right, guys.
Ring that bell when you're on there.
Oh, yeah. Ring the bell. Ring my bell. Ring my bell. So again, guys, we appreciate it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Appreciate everybody listening in today. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X. I always forget it's got 2 names now. I don't know what to call it anymore. I still call it Twitter.
Twitter X.
Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite and our new friend in the comment section here, my LinkedIn profile. Oh, yes. And of course, as always, we are available the next day on every audio podcast platform known to man. Appreciate you guys listening in as always. We will see you guys post game as soon as the game is over. It's my first day of vacation, and we'll celebrate hopefully with a win there. We'll go ahead and have a live show for you guys, giving us our thoughts and reactions on the game instantaneously there. And as always, Giant fans,
go G-Man!
Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?
Thank you to those who have signed up for our silver gold levels of membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.